Hello and welcome, Standupworld episode 72. Thank you for coming back, coming your first time, not even being here or accidentally being here. Say hello to the producer of the show, Kaylee Zellick. How are you? How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. You seem sober for once. It's good.
I'm doing my best, one day at a time.
All right, good. We have a great show. We have a really great show. I've been telling you about this guy for a while, and I've been wanting to get him on. I always say this guy, the world has just changed. Sadly, the world has just changed. In another world, this guy would be Judd Apatow. He would have the career Judd's doing, and he still will. I just think, he has all the chops that Judd had when I met Judd, when he was at the same stage in his career. He makes some really wonderful little films that I just love. And Sam Rubinoff is his name. And he's all over YouTube. And what's interesting about him is not that he's working with some great comedians, but he just has a real command of the writer-director side of comedy in a way that I think very few people have anymore. I'm dying to see what he does one day with a feature. But let's get him on and let's just get talking about him, to him instead of about him. Okay?
Perfect.
Sam Rubin. Hi, Sam. How are you, buddy?
Good, Mike. How are you? Very nice things to say. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very sweet.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean it. I love your stuff. Your new film, Stuck in Park, which oddly enough, you've got a picture of it behind you.
Yeah, added a little production value. Yeah. But got a plug.
It's a great little film, It's like 9 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
But everything about it works. I just love it. And you work with Joe List a lot. Talk about that. How long have you know him pretty well, right?
Well, I'm a stand-up in New York, so I've known List just through the clubs for a long time, and his wife Sarah, who's a terrific comic as well. And I've done 2 projects with Joe, and I saw him in Louis' film 4th of July, and he was really great
Fantastic.
in that. And the last one I did, it was called Civic Duty before this, and he played a kind of small town sheriff, and the guy who was shooting it was like, I think you should reach out to Joe. His name was Alex Adams, and I was really nervous about it because who's the lead in a Louis C.K. film, and I sent him a script one day when he happened to have COVID, so he was stuck at home, and he read it right away, and he was like, "Let's do it." And he's just a mensch and a real great guy to have on set, and he likes acting, which is great. Like, he's always down to do another take, and he comes prepared, and it's just like a good energy, and I really like, and he's funny and he's great. So
I like him also because he's like a unusual leading man, but he works. It works.
Yeah. There's it's you're rooting for him when you see him on screen, and he's always self-conscious, and that's the thing that he's fighting against. And I think I see a lot of some qualities I have in him, so it's easy to write for a guy like that.
Right?
Kaylee, I watched it before you assigned it to me,
right? Well, you had seen it already?
I did it a few days ago. I loved it, like a rat to cheese.
That's great. That's great. And do you know Joe List? Did you ever seen Joe List before that?
Nope.
he works, right?
Yeah, I thought it was
In that
great.
role? Yeah, he was great. And I thought Keith Robinson was great.
Yeah, he's terrific.
And so do they stick to your script pretty well, or?
Yeah, I'm still figuring out my style with this, but I what I found is that we've talked a little bit about this before. I like rehearsing. I like figuring it out ahead of time, and sometimes there's some magic, some improv on set, and if I just don't have a lot of time to reinvent the wheel. And I've also gotten in trouble before where I've like, you get really excited about, where an improvisation goes on set and it feels exciting. And then you're in the edit and you're like, oh, wait, I missed these story beats that I worked months on. And now A doesn't connect to, it's like A to C now. And I needed that B. And like, so yeah, people tend to stick to the script. And we go a little bit off, but it's not much. But it's figured out in rehearsals, I would say.
The other reason, I do compare you to young Judd Apatow a lot, because not only, obviously when I met Judd, he was a comic in the clubs, and he knew all the comedians, but even more, all his early stuff had so many new, fresh comics and talent in it, from everyone from Seth Rogen and James Franco to he was working with who was the girl from Girls? What's her name? Lena Dunham, and
right, yeah,
and I feel like every time I see some of your stuff, there's so much Rosebud Baker and what's that guy's name? Who was the other guy in Civic Duty who was so good?
Tommy Pope.
Tommy Pope, he's great.
He was just in Shane Gillis's show Tires.
Yeah, that's right.
He played a car salesman in that too. I think he found his niche. But yeah, so I love.
You have a good eye for talent.
Thanks, I appreciate it. It's like kind of something, when I find my brain gravitating toward, like when I'm in the club, I'm like, oh, what would I want to see that person in? Like when you see them on stage, like especially like if you cast them in something that involves a uniform, it just adds so much fun to like you want Keith Robinson to be a curmudgeon cop.
What were the ones in terms of the films growing up? What comic film? Like when I was a kid, it was Woody Allen and it was Mel Brooks.
Yeah, totally. I mean, those guys are amazing. And I especially, I think I really, growing up, Adam Sandler movies, that was it for me. And the sketch albums, that was the guy. And the Farrelly Brothers, and then I actually gravitated toward like John Hughes stuff. Like when I graduated college, I felt like very lost. And I went through this whole period where I was like very into like coming of age movies, and like John Hughes and Barry Levinson's Diner, like those were like Linklater, and Sean Baker now is like I really liked his movie Red Rocket a lot, and but yeah, Woody Allen stuff. What
made you kind of want to learn to make films? Did you go to film school?
No. I don't. Yeah, I couldn't. What I've done is over the years I've taken. I'll take like a night class here and there. Like School of Visual Arts has like, for $400 you can take like a cinematography class, and I've learned a lot in that. You just take one of them. Or I've like been in writing groups, and I've kind of tried to like piece it together like that and learn specific things. But no, not film school. But I don't know.
It's really funny. My son went to Emerson.
Okay, that's a good school for this.
It's a good school. It's an expensive school, I can tell you that. But And then one summer, I think it was between his second and third year, he came down and he worked as a third AD on a movie I was doing in New Orleans with Kevin Costner and Octavia Spencer and all these actors. And I'm telling you, he learned more in that 5 weeks than he did the whole year. You know, the truth is, and listen, I get it. I get it. When I started, people weren't going to film school really. There was USC Film School at Spielberg, and those guys started, and there was a lot of classes, but very few people went to that. You got jobs. You got jobs on sets, and you learned on the go, you know? And I think you know more, having made the movies you've made, than anybody, you know, than anybody that's going to a film class or film school. I really, and the other side of it is I've been doing this for so many years. There's never been like two guys at a studio or anything I've worked with, but well, I like them both, but this one guy's got a degree.
Yeah.
This one guy, look, the other guy has no degree. You know, this one guy went to Emerson. This one guy went to US. No one cares where you went in this business.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the film school thing it's very expensive. And I've always just thought, like, just put that money towards making, or a fraction of that towards making stuff, and fail and figure it out. And I like the process of making these things, and it's fun and it's really hard, but the challenge of it's just a puzzle, you know.
And you learn so much more, I think.
Yeah. So you didn't go to, you were a comic and you just started making films, right?
Sam, oh
yeah, you're kid comedy, right?
Yeah, I started right out of high school. I didn't, you know, I have no skills. I have nothing to fall back on. You know, but you know, listen, I'm not. There's also, I'm sure there's other good sides of film school. You know, people you meet and you know, learn how to fornicate and things like that. You know, you know, I learned all that stuff in alleys. You know, I would have rather learned it, I guess, in dormitories and warmer places. But I'm sure there are upsides to just going to college in general. The truth is, I played a lot of colleges during my college years, and I was always a little jealous of college kids, you know. But I just, as far as filmmaking, I think the best thing to do is just make films, even especially in this age, and that's why I love what you do. And then, I mean, I loved Civic Duty. I loved that old series you did. What was it called again? Dog Days or something?
Yeah.
Is it called Dog Days?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But Stuck in Park is a big leap forward to me as far as I'm concerned. You know, it really, to me, if I were running a studio, I'd say this guy can do a studio film. This guy can make a film, you know?
Thanks, man. Yeah, I wanted to, with this one, I wanted to really, I wanted to try to direct an action scene, which was what I was thinking about. There's a parking scene, and it was a real challenge. It took me a few months to figure out how to do that with the resources that I had. And yes, I wanted it to feel like you were there, and this was to film about the struggles of alternate side parking in New York City. It was just something that I deal with and I hate, and it's affected my own relationship. And I wanted people to feel like they were there, and there was I was happy that with what we were able to pull off.
Kaylee, where did you say that there was
Boston.
in Boston? So they have the same thing in Boston?
Yeah, for street cleaning, they do it alternate sides.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's brutal. It's oh my gosh. Yeah, every time after I do
guess
it, I
they
feel
don't really have that out here in LA. I get, you know.
well, you guys have driveways.
Yeah, driveways, or if you have an apartment, usually have at least one space below.
Right. It's anarchy in New York.
But I thought it came together great, and
Thanks,
I
man.
also, tell me about the because I was out of town. You for the Netflix is a joke festival. You had what happened here? What happened to Kaylee? All right, fuck her. I'm telling you, she's not very good anyway. We're looking for someone new.
She seemed nice. I don't know.
She's not nice. She's not nice. She's not bright. She's,
Jesus.
you know what it is? She's good looking, and some of the other, it makes it easier to get comics on the show. But other than that, there's very little talent there.
Jesus.
Oh, wait a minute. What happened?
She just quit, man.
She just quit.
She's calling her lawyer, man. You're fucked. She's gonna own half of this podcast by the end of it.
Where'd you go?
It froze.
It froze?
Mm-hmm.
I was saying.
I heard everything you said, though. I heard everything you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sort of kidding.
Yeah, I almost had a spit take.
That's funny. But so tell what about you had that you did that festival, right?
Yeah, so I've been trying to figure out how to get these short films out, and something I've been experimenting with is live shows. I started this thing called stand-up cinema, which was I find other comedian filmmakers and I build a showcase out of it and I put it up in the movie theater. So, and it's a really well curated and well attended event. And I make these little animations in between each of the shorts to kind of bring it through, like a through line. And so I did one at the New York Comedy Festival with Civic Duty. And then I brought this one out, Stuck in Park, for the Netflix It's a Joke Festival. We did that Dynasty Typewriter. And it's a lot of fun to see short films on a big screen. And I think that, I'm trying to figure out how to make the online thing work for me with what I'm doing, but it feels like it's a good launch pad for putting something out online. Generally, I put out the short film that night, and I encourage people to share it, and it starts it off with a bit of momentum, and and I like doing it. It feels like a good capstone to something that's hard to do, like making a short film.
I think it's a great idea, and do people come out for it? Yeah,
they're well attended, and it's fun, and it's also like I like meeting other filmmakers, and it's a chance to just like share the stage with them and let them show something off as well. So,
and are there other comics, a lot of other comics that are making short films?
Yeah, there's a few out there that are. I mean, Joe List makes some himself, and then there's Edie Modica. She was on Jury Duty. She makes some really cool stuff. Sarah, Joe's wife, Sarah Tolomash, makes great. Rel Battle, I don't know if you know him. He made a great short film a couple years back.
Shane Gillis made a few really funny little shorts.
Yeah, he works with John McKeever, and McKeever for me, I've never met him. Actually, I met him years. We shook hands, whatever. But he, for me, I've always just watched what he does, because me, he's terrific. He would do these sketches with those Philly guys when they were all still in Philly, and then he did a pilot for Comedy Central, which they were stupid not to pick up because it was so funny. It's called Delco Proper, and it's just like, and then now they made Tires, and it's a great show.
Yeah,
He's
I love
so
Tires.
good.
I love Tires.
Yeah. So, and I'm hoping that kind of, the way they did that was really cool. They just shot it all themselves and then were able to sell it afterwards. And I think like comedy in particular kind of works better when you leave it alone. And yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but that's how they did Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. They had like an 11-minute cheap. I think they made it for a couple $1,000, and
that's what I think you should do, Sam. Something like that.
Yeah.
I'd
like to.
There's no stopping you. I really think that. I think you're just gonna have to do one of those kind of end arounds that Shane Gillis or the Sunny guys did, or write a feature script that you can make for cheap and get somebody to give you the money to do it. Going back to the early days, like in the Groove Tube, out of New York, these guys did the Groove Tube, which became ended up being a lot of the Saturday Night Live guys. I think that's what you got to do. You got to do a feature, I mean, I was really lucky, and I made a couple shorts. What happened with me is I wrote a script that got made as a feature, and then I had a lower budget feature that a guy named Bobby Newmeyer got made, the guy who did the Sex, Lies, and Videotape and Drugstore Cowboy. He put it together, and I got.
Was that Crossing the Bridge?
Yeah, Crossing the Bridge.
That was a good film.
Yeah, it was fun. I
liked it.
And it was a lot of people's first movie, But that's what I think will happen with you, without a doubt. I just think people got to find out about you, and I think you got to decide where you want to go. I really, it's one of the things about Judd is Judd knew what he wanted to do, and he wrote a lot of scripts.
Yeah, I definitely think I want to make a feature. I'm toying with like when to take my foot off the gas on short films to do that. I mean, I just did a table read for a new short script on Monday because I was like, this is something I want to. I think I'll probably shoot that this year. And
what's it about?
I'll tell you off camera. I don't like it's and
is it more porn?
Yeah, it's more a lot of porn.
More porn than comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's transcontinental porn. It's it's an event. It's
that's going to be the next big thing.
Right. Yeah, we're just going to be shooting videos of each other's parts. We should just be doing OnlyFans. I don't know. That's more money in that. But
I actually have an OnlyFan. I have one subscriber, and he just.
Is it your wife or?
Me brush my teeth. And I don't even know why.
Well,
but I'm living off his $7 a month.
Or even Thailand. This apartment looks great. No, I want to shoot a feature. I like. There's something about writing short films though that's like it's a puzzle because you're really trying to hit them over the head with, who these characters are. Your inciting incident, your conflict, like in the first 60 to 90 seconds, and it's a real challenge, and I like doing it. But yeah, the feature is the thing that I got to do, and I want to, and I feel like I'm building enough people around me that I like working with, and my own personal skill sets of managing sets and stuff like that to.
Or maybe even like what Shane did with a little television series or something,
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah. He really he did a great job with that.
And what about stand-up? How much you still love doing stand up?
I do, yeah. I'm on the road. I middle a lot on the road. Last weekend I was in Virginia or Maryland and DC. This weekend I'm in Hartford with Nathan McIntosh, who's a really, really funny guy. I don't know. I think I told you about him. He did this whole hour about the tech industry. He's great. And I'm out a lot, and then I get up a few times a week in the city, and I like it. And it's, I don't love the social media aspect of it, and it bums me out. And I think making films is, I like doing less things, but having a lot of attention to detail at it, rather than just churning out clips like, we have to do if we want a following. So yeah, they kind of complement each other a lot to me. Stand-up's the instant, the kernel of thought that you try to just explore, and it's also just like, that's my people, and I've been doing that longer than I've been making films, so
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good to do it all in this day and age.
Yeah, that was something not like when we met up for lunch, that you were very. It's funny, every so often I'll take a meeting, and they try to put you in a box of like, well, are you going to do this? Well, then you can't. And it's just like, I don't know, man. This is me, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. They don't know. And nobody knows.
Yeah. And I think comics like working with me because I like funny, and I'm very sensitive to funny, and I trust them to bring it, and they do. So it all works out.
And I think when you stick close to stand up, one thing that I have always known is, even when I didn't do it for years, I trusted my sense of funny, because I was in front of an audience a lot. But even when I got back into it more, I know, I have a pretty good ratio, not completely, obviously, that if I think something's really funny and I write it, it's going to work, and that helps you when you're on a set and you go, yeah, okay, that's funny. If it really makes me laugh, you just get a sense of confidence, and that you have. I remember years ago, I was working with Damon Wayans on a movie, and the head of the studio, this woman, kept saying to him in every meeting, yeah, it's not funny. That script is about the script. This scene here, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny. And he stopped looking at her in the meetings. And she called me home one night. She said, why does he, you could tell he hates me. I go, well, you keep telling him it's not funny. He's been killing in front of audiences his whole life. Have you ever said anything funny at a cocktail party once? Have you ever gotten a laugh at I just don't understand. He knows what's funny. Stop using the term, it's not funny. Because when you say that to him, you sound ignorant, to be honest, and she never thought of it that way, but
it's also pretty, it's like, for a comic, that's like, it's very insulting when somebody tells you that. It's like saying you're not, to an actor, like you're being dishonest, I think, or like, I don't know, like I'd rather be called a slur than be called unfunny,
but in her defense, she didn't know that. She didn't know that. She had just gotten the job as we were doing halfway through the movie, and she didn't know that. She really truly didn't know that. See it like that. She was trying to just be. Her thing was, someone told her, just be completely honest with them, and I was going, don't be that honest.
Right. I have a question for you. When dealing with humor on set, like, even like, I just get sick of my scripts by the time I'm shooting them. And like, when you're doing comedy, it's not like studio audience. Like, there's no laugh. In fact, everybody's got to kind of give it. A lot of times they got to be straight faced, and that's how it lands. And do you still feel it's funny when you're shooting it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, I've actually ruined takes laughing at, but I think it's worth doing,
Right. Yeah.
by laughing off camera, but I also, yeah, and also, and as soon as you yell cut and everybody just busts out laughing,
Right. That's usually a good cue for me of, like I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I really like this, but do people, because nobody's laughing, if you're laughing, I'm gonna have you stand further away from the camera and the sound up. But so I'm looking around, I'm like, we got it right. Yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah. It's really, it's a whole different thing. You got to really trust yourself, and and then you got to show it to audiences and believe what they're telling you is the truth.
You're talking about test screenings or what?
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you do that with shorts?
What I've done is, it's so funny. Like I have like a group of people that I rely on for notes at certain points of a project, be it in the script or in the cut. People who I feel, always the litmus in my head is like, what will their advice do for me? Like, and if I can't define that, then I don't send it to them. But like, so I haven't done live test screenings for my shorts, but I would like to. It's just like, it's kind of actually I did one for Civic Duty when I was trying to decide to leave something in or not. I invited a few friends over to my apartment, and that was the test screening. But it was, small scale. But yeah, most of the time I'm getting notes from people who are watching it remotely. And I've told them at least that they can't watch it on their phone, so that they do that. So when you make you're making big movies. How many test screenings do you do?
As many as they'll let me do, but I like to do them. I like to listen to the audience, especially for
And when you're cutting a drama, what are you listening for?
You want to know that they're quiet and you feel their reaction.
Okay.
And even to me, all my dramas have comedy in them. So
right, yeah.
You're listening to what they're feeling. You're there. You get so much. You learn so much. And they always let them fill out cards and they do talks with them afterwards. But I don't learn. I learn more just sitting there listening to them. With them, you feel the energy in the room. You take the ride in the roller coaster with them. You can tell they're scared, for a minute, or you can tell they're really upset.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're sorry, I'm just curious about this. So when you're testing a film, do you have like placeholder music in, or do you have them like Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
I
enjoy I enjoyed the whole testing and everything, and it really helps.
Yeah, it must be a great thing to be able to do. Post is so interesting.
Yeah, I love it. It's a long period, but it's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
It's such a roller coaster too, because it's like heartbreaking, and also just when you solve a puzzle or something feels like it's clicked together, or you figure out, hey, I could shave a minute off of this. Why didn't we do this earlier? This is great. Like if this works, it's cool.
How many days did you shoot Stuck in Park?
We shot it for 2 days, and then I needed to do pickups for like a few hours on a third day. So 2.5 days, I would say.
And how long was the editing and the post-production process?
It moved fast. I mean, at Wrap, I Ubered the hard drive up to my editor, Ed McGowan, up in Washington Heights, and he got cooking on it. And we were Yeah, we were done in less than 2 months on it, which was great.
That's great.
Yeah, I was really
Really
happy
great.
with that.
I really like it. I people should go to YouTube and watch it.
Yeah, please watch it, subscribe, and yeah.
They would probably have really been really looking forward to the new one you're working on, but you wouldn't talk about it. But other than that, I
Well,
think
that's a
you've done
reason to
really-
have me on. I'll talk. Yeah,
You're
do you talk about
I-
your stuff?
No, never.
So what the fuck, man?
I'm teasing you. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on, and like I say, everybody, I just I hope people go and watch your stuff, and you're going to do great. I have no doubt.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks so much. And you've given me a lot of great advice we've been talking over the last year, and I really appreciate it. It's great. Thanks.
Anything I could do to help.
Thanks, man.
I really love your stuff.
Cool.
Thanks, Sam. All right, that was good, huh?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. And I didn't.
He seems nice.
He's Jewish, which kind of is hard for me because I don't really like the Jews. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm a self-hating, self-cleaning Jew. It's a world. I'm a whirlpool Jew. So that's it. Thanks a lot. It was a good thing, and I don't have anything to talk about coming up this week. I'm just here working. We're working on a project that isn't a show, but we're working and we're having fun. And we're on Apple and Spotify and Standupworld.com, of course, and YouTube and everywhere. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. See you next week, by the way. Have an amazing guest, right?
We do. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. That's it. Love you.